this is our basic purpose, and Kerala State is supporting anything for the innovative ideas and for the startup. For example, YIP, Young Innovators programs, are encouraged by the Kerala State government. And of course, they are creating the platform for establishing the IEDCs to the institution. First of this kind in pharmacy, we have established, approved by Kerala government. With this keynote, I do my interested job to welcome all the dignitaries. First of all, I take an opportunity to welcome our administrator for this program, who has supported, rendered throughout the time for the last 1 month for bringing out this program. Thank you, Father, for being with us. I'm to welcome our IP President, Dr. Jayashekhar, sir. He was a former dean from Muscat University. Welcome you for this function, sir. As well, I also welcome our resource persons of today, Dr. Professor Chandrasekhar, the campus director, senior professor head, Institute of Management, Kerala, as well chairman, Board of Studies in Management, MG University. I heartily welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
As well, I also welcome the another resource person, Mr. Atul Chandrasenan. He is a director and founder of Quadratech Innovations Technology Private Limited, and he'll be delivering a talk on artificial intelligence in pharmacy. And I should not miss to thank Dr. Felt, convener of this event, and co-conveners Dr. Prasan Francis and Karthikeyan sir for the constant support. As well, I thank to my vice principal, Dr. Deepa Chose, for all the coordinations. And I also welcome the technical support rendering now Jobin Baby for making this platform in a nice manner. So with this note, I welcoming you all once again. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for those kind, thought-provoking words. I now take immense pleasure in requesting Dr. P. Jayashekhar, President of Indian Pharmaceutical Association, Kerala, to deliver the inaugural address and declare the summit open.
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning to one and all. Principal Dr. Badrinapan, Nirmala College of Pharmacy, Reverend Father, Administrator, Nirmala College of Pharmacy, Jose Pulile, Management Expert, and my friend Dr. K. S. Chandrasekharan, Director, Institute of Management in Kerala, University of Kerala, Dynamic Entrepreneur, Mr. Atul Chandrasenan, Director, Quadratech Innovation Technology, Dr. Fel Saju, Dr. Deepa, dear faculty members of Nirmala College of Pharmacy and other colleges who have joined here, and dear delegates of Pharma Summit, or Pharma Innovation Summit rather to say. Welcoming all to the virtual Pharma Summit. Rose to the occasion, the organizers have taken an excellent decision to convert the Pharma Summit into a virtual lecture series due to the non-conducive weather. Indian Pharmaceutical Association has about 82 years of existence and is always there to support pharma education, industry, practice, and research. Let us work together for the betterment of our profession. We know the pharmacy is a very noble profession. As a pharmacist, we are expert in medicine, right from the discovery of medicine till it is used by the patients. We pharmacists have pivotal role in the healthcare delivery systems. As you know, India production of pharma products is about 4th by volume, and India contributes second largest share of a pharmaceutical and biotechnology workforce in the world. As per the Indian Economy Survey 2021, domestic market of pharma business is growing to go 3 times by 1 decade. That means there are a lot of employment opportunities. But sad to say, the scenario of pharma industry in Kerala is different or is withered. You know that there is not much organizations to cater the employment needs of our graduates. Often our graduates are not getting jobs of their choice. Here comes the importance of innovation and startup mission. Why to be an employee? Become an entrepreneur or employer. Grooming our graduates to be an entrepreneur to cater the employment needs is very important. Our graduates are not getting, our graduates are talented enough or competent enough to move forward. And there are a lot of schemes of state and central governments to support the young talented youth. It requires dedicated, planned, collaborative decision-making with a clear vision and objectives. In schooling itself or the college level itself, we have to inculcate critical thinking and inquisitiveness, which are very, very important for innovations. In pharmacy programs also, and pharmacy profession itself, we have a lot of research scopes, especially in screening of synthetic and herbal medicines, product developments, novel drug delivery systems, repurposing, development of new practice protocols, clinical protocols, genomics, application of AI in pharmaceutical sciences, 3D printing in pharmaceuticals, etc., etc. These translational research innovations are to be scaled up to the product or service for the mankind. There the roles comes the startup mission and the industry business. Pharma entrepreneurship and management is a tricky area for success. I am sure the veteran management consultant, Dr. K.C. Chandrasekharan, can share his rich experience in innovation startup. And also the scope of AI in pharmacy is another gray area, emerging area for all of us. I am sure that Mr. Atul Chandrasekharan will enlighten us in these aspects. Let us hope the innovation startup center at Nirmala College of Pharmacy will have sustainable growth with interaction with industry, and the initiatives of Nirmala College of Pharmacy is highly appreciated. I take the opportunity to congratulate the management, especially the father, Principal Phelps, for the wonderful lecture series of innovation startup. The future of pharmacy profession lies on the innovations. Let us ignite our mind to grow bigger, bolder, and brighter. I thank the management of National Nirmala College of Pharmacy to collaborate with IPA in organizing the Pharma Summit with the permission from all assembled here on the virtual platform and blessings of the Almighty. Let us declare the Pharma Summit in the virtual platform inaugurated. Thank you very much. Stay safe and blessed. Jai Hind. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for those inspiring words. Now, without further ado, we will turn our time over to the first technical session on the topic Pharma Entrepreneurship and Management. Just a small reminder before we get started. If you have any questions during the presentation, you may type them in the chat box and we'll have time for the questions at the end. Now, may I request our Vice Principal, Professor Dr. Deepa Jose, to chair the session.
Good morning, one and all. I hope I'm audible. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Okay. Go ahead.
Yes, it's my privilege to introduce our distinguished resource person, Professor K.S. Chandrasekhar, to this forum. Professor K.S. Chandrasekhar is currently Dean, Faculty of Management Studies, University of Kerala, and Professor and Head, IMK. He is also the Campus Director of University of Kerala. He has more than 28 years of teaching, research, and consulting experience. He holds B.Pharm from BITS Pilani, MBA with a distinction from BSMED, Bharatiyar University, and PhD in Management from Alagappa University, Karaikudi. He also completed 1 year CPET from Indian School of Business, Hyderabad. He has contributed more than rupees 157 crore through funding from Government of Kerala, DST, UGC, AICT, SBI, KLE, etc. He held the post of Vice Chairman of Center for Management Development, Government of Kerala for 3 years. He was formerly Registrar and Acting Vice Chancellor of University of Kerala. 54 scholars have completed PhD under his guidance. He has published 10 leading management books and 215 scholarly articles. Widely traveled across the world, he has chaired and presented papers in international and national seminars. He was involved in structuring many innovative PG management programs like pharmaceutical management, public health and hospital management, energy management, etc. He has won many awards like Distinguished Alumni Award, BSMED, Bharatiyar University in the year 2019, Best Academic Excellence, Higher Education Forum in 2018, Devang Mehta Best Professor in Management 2018, MTC Global Outstanding Achievement in Management Education Award in 2017, Outstanding PhD Guide Award aims in 2016, Smart Journal Lifetime Achievement Award, Bhadridasan University in 2015, Sri P.K. Das Memorial Lifetime Achievement Award with a cash prize of rupees 25,000, Asia's Best Professor in Marketing Management in 2011, Best Academic of the Year 2008 by Amity University, Gold Medal. He is the Gold Medal winner and awarded the Best Business Academic of the Year 2016, Indian Commerce Association, Andhra University. With this brief introduction, let me take this opportunity to invite our resource person, Professor Dr. K.S. Chandrasekhar, to start the session.
Thank you very much, Dr. Deepa. Professor Dr. P. Jayashekhar, President of IPA Kerala. I sincerely thank him for giving me this opportunity. Dr. Padmanabhan, the principal, Reverend Father Jose Pullopillil, who is the administrator, Mr. Atul Chandrasenan, Dr. Karthikeyan, Dr. Shaju, other faculty members. And I also sincerely thank the efforts taken by Dr. Fels Saju, as he was literally coordinating the whole scenario in ensuring that this summit takes off. At every point of time, he was interacting with me and asking me about the plans, how we move forward. Definitely, I would have been very happy to be part at the Nirmala College along with Dr. Jayashekhar. However, because of the current, the situation, which doesn't warrant us to travel, this particular summit was taken to the virtual mode, and I sincerely thank the management for keeping faith in the program and running the program as it is. Now, today, and I'm not taking much time because, I definitely have to spend some time with you on the presentation. So let me go on to my presentation. This is the presentation I thought I'll share with you. I am talking about pharmapreneurship and management. I am talking it as not pharmaceutical entrepreneurship, but I am taking it as pharma entrepreneurship, which is now being coined as pharmapreneurship, and also some of the management aspects which are related to it. I know that most of you who are attending here are students, researchers, who would be into a specific pharmaceutical area, whether it could be the area where you would like to involve in. So a specific area would you would like to get in and then start working on. Specialization area is always there. However, and that specific area, if you look at cognizy, in cognizy, what is the possibility you have? So similarly, you will have to look at other areas and see whether you can actually become someone successful in that particular area. No, I'm not going to present you on a thing wherein you can actually catch up on ideas where you feel that which would be useful to you and then start. In fact, Dr. Jayashekhar was very clear that the opportunities within the state of Kerala is minimal, and because it is minimal, it gives us a lot of challenges. How do you go about it? How to actually make it successful? How do you actually find a area or a niche where you can actually operate? And that is where the students of pharmacy, researchers of pharmacy can think about certain areas. So I'm now plowing you back into that particular areas where you feel is better. You can actually move ahead. So this is the first thing, basically look at entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship deals with how do you actually exploit opportunities. And that opportunity has to be, because everybody, it is something like this. We say that opportunity was there, but has not been used. Many people do not realize that there was an opportunity. Those are the areas where the entrepreneurs really succeed. In fact, if you look at the entrepreneurs, then they would identify exactly a specific area where they can actually become successful. How do you evaluate? How do you identify? How do you evaluate? How do you exploit it? And that is something which is an important aspect as far as entrepreneurship is concerned. Now, normally what do you look at opportunities? One is you have startups. Now, we have startups. University of Kerala, we have about 83 startups at our university. And we are running startups, and we are ensuring that the startups are actually scaling to the next level. That is an important thing. How an institution is able to incubate that startup and make it fly, that is something which is important. And so, and you have to create a new venture. Companies can actually set up their own ventures, and they can set up their own ventures. For example, if Sun Pharma decides a specific area where the Nirmala College is actually working on, a specific area where the research is on, Sun Pharma can come in and they can actually incubate that particular set of people and give them all the required support, so that that particular, you can actually, Nirmala College actually can tie up with some of the best of the pharma companies in trying to come with incubations, and most of the companies are now interested. They know that because R&D alone within the company can help you, but there are people who are currently doing research, how they are undertaking research. So this is something where you can actually look at. Now, that's another one is we talk about is the entrepreneurial action. How do you move forward, and how do you actually go ahead with? Now, next is, you're looking at new opportunities, new customers, resources, or you combine the markets, and how do you actually move into that markets? And I said first, identify something, evaluate it, and exploit it. And in that identification, you may have a set of customers. For example, we nowadays talk more from the aspect of lifestyle diseases. And within the lifestyle diseases, you identify one single lifestyle disease. And that lifestyle disease, if I am able to do something on that, for example, there is one set of startup which was launched and to become a bigger success now, is called Freedom from Diabetes. And that Freedom from Diabetes has actually started their own app, and they have started working very seriously on that and ensuring that more and more people are getting into that platform. And they promote through social media, they promote through the word of mouth, they promote through people who are actually successful in the particular process, who have already been enrolled and they have completed the program and they have become successful. These people have been brought in and they have been asked to suggest people, and they in turn they have a unique model where those who have cured themselves of this particular disease comes back as mentors. So there are new options, new opportunities. So identify those markets. And not only that, it's not that you have to only create a new venture creation. You can actually move forward and do a lot of things. And so what is the role of the entrepreneur? It's basically identifying and bridging the missing markets, connecting buyers and sellers. And if there is some ignorance about an issue, overcome that, distribute knowledge, and ensure that the markets become perfect, and refine the existing assembly line and the production function which you already have. So there are a number of areas where a lot of people have become very successful. And one of the things is that if you are confident and if you know pretty well that there are people who are very much important to you, like customers, competitors. Now, what first important thing is competitors. Like, for example, if you look at all those companies which have come out over a period of time, become successful, or the companies, either one is that you have a breakthrough product or a breakthrough drug, one which you came out with, or you may have a product which you learn that has greater opportunity in the market. So what I try to do is to ensure that I exploit that market. I become one among those particular players who are already available, and I will be a Me Too player. So it is almost like something like a copycat. Once you have a copycat, that copycat slowly turns to becoming a model and innovating on that over a period of time. Like Indian pharma industry had been on that platform only. We have been copycats, no doubt about that. I tell you, I will not mind saying this because Dr. Reddy started off like that. Now all those companies started like that, and then slowly they ramped up their R&D activity. They started working on new drugs and molecules, and they were able to actually become successful suddenly. And we were thriving on the generics market, no doubt about that. The generics were the basis on which we were operating. So slowly we are now becoming more and more important in the world market. During COVID, we were the suppliers and we supply to the world market. So India has now put a foothold on the international pharmaceutical market. And so that is where you need to actually look at. So basically try to have a network and look at what are the assets you have, what are the infrastructure you have, and how do you actually move forward in that particular. So customer orientation is something is the most important aspect. I will talk about it later when we discuss about the startups. So number of reasons are there. One is very easily to avoid entrepreneurship. Like you may say that in the state of Kerala, whether entrepreneurship will happen or not. There are a lot of doubts, there are a lot of queries, but I think the government is trying itself and trying to do something in that particular platform, wherein setting up a startup mission, setting up other support mechanisms, which would actually align with, in fact, as what your principal said, IEDC has been already given to you. So that IEDC itself can actually promote the idea of entrepreneurship, bring in people to this particular platform and ask them to be more involved in that particular thing. So this is something which I would like to say clearly that the very basic aspect of entrepreneurship has to be with, I tell you, all those who have become successful elsewhere other than the state of Kerala, as an entrepreneur, you will find there will be one Keralite who will be part of it. Someone who has that capability to deliver, someone who has an inherent idea. These people have become very successful. So definitely those people in Kerala can be greater successful as such. So these are the three things which I like to say. One is what is the opportunity you have, what are the resources, and who actually supports you. So one important aspect as far as any entrepreneurship is concerned is that you need to have a very definite and a comprehensive business plan. Understand what needs to be fitted, what are the gaps which are there, you'll have to overcome that. And at the same time, overcome the ambiguity and ensure more creativity in your presentation. And you should have some contingent plans for any uncertain aspects. Your leadership quality, who exactly is behind the scenario, who is actually promoting this concept, and look at what are the the exogenous variables which could actually influence you, whether the capital market is involved and other aspects are involved. Is there a venture capitalist who is available with you, or an angel investor who is going to come out with you? So opportunity is very much there, no doubt about that. So what is important as far as you want to become an entrepreneur, you need to have these aspects. These are the 5 aspects you need to have. One is you need to have passion, you need to have focus, you need to have courage. Especially in a state like Kerala, you need to have courage, no doubt about that. Leadership quality. Leadership of running an institution, running a program, and forward thinking, always having vision in what you will achieve. In fact, I have come across many of the people I have seen in the pharma industry who have been successful, but they initially had their own share of problems. Look at Lupin, for instance. Professor Gupta was my teacher. And he actually started Lupin. And that company became one of the great successful things. Primarily at that point of time, there was a need for anti-TB drugs. So he came with that kit, which actually addresses the TB thing. All the 4 were brought in, and they were brought inside this particular kit and made it accessible, made it affordable, which actually made Lupin jump. So that's something which is unique. So you need to have that. At that point of time, when he was a teacher, he was thinking about this particular thing only. And he decided, this is my time. If I lose this time, I'm not going to get it. That is the point. For anything and everything, there is a time which is there. And that time you have to utilize that particular thing. If you are not able to utilize that time, that opportunity is wasted. And that is where this particular aspect came into picture. So passion. The passion, of course, all of you are here, have a passion. That's the reason why you have chosen pharmacy. Now you have a passion to that. And you should have a focus on identifying something. And then should have courage to overcome all the difficulties, what is possible, which would be thrown at you. And similarly, one thing I have seen that in all those successful people, entrepreneurs who have become very successful are the people who invest in continuous learning. Continuous learning. Now, they spend about 1 hour each day and 5 hours a week learning and practicing. So definitely you have to spend some time on reading. That is why I always say a 5-hour rule is important. You set up a business, don't think that setting up a business is the end of your learning ability. You have to learn. You have to continuously learn. If you continuously learn, you can actually become a great person as such, because you will be completely having a great knowledge and the comprehensive assessment of what is happening. And similarly, there are a lot of theoretical aspects which are required of entrepreneurship. One aspect which is very important is the IPR, the patent thing. You need to go through the patenting regime. And I think that requires a separate session as such, where patenting regime has to be understood. What is the difference between product patent and the process patent? Now, product patent is now become inevitable. So how do we move forward in that direction in ensuring that we have a patent which can be filed? And that you need attorneys to actually help you.
Hello.
Yes,
Me,
yes.
Sir, would you change the slides? It's not changing, I think.
Okay, one second.
Just make it as a slideshow, sir.
Yeah, I have done that. Okay, fine. Now you can see.
No, sir, it's not changing actually.
One second. One second. Fells, be online. Huh?
Sure, sir.
Can you see this?
There is a resume slideshow only.
One second.
But the slides are not changing, sir.
Okay, one second. Now let me come again. That is the best thing. One second.
Okay.
You can now see. This is the first slide.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And now you can see these theoretical requirements.
No, sir. No.
There must be some issue with that.
Now it's changing, sir. Sir,
Now,
I think
I
you
will
have
go through
to.
this. Okay, no problem. No problem. I'll go through this. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
I think otherwise that if you go to the show, I think it is not happening. Fine, no problem. Okay.
Okay, sure.
Now, let's see, because I don't have much time, so I cannot go on doing this. So if you look at entrepreneurship, this is what is the thing, like identify, create, or pursue new opportunity and implement that particular, whatever new idea you have into practice. And you should be able to take, so first and foremost, quality of a entrepreneur is should be able to take risk in your life. Take risk. Identify the unmet needs. Create new value through innovation and responsive to change. And you should be able to make sacrifices. All those people who have come to top position, everybody had sacrificed. Either on the family life, either on their personal life, either on other professional aspects. They have sacrificed a lot before coming to this position. So there is, don't get annoyed, don't get stomped. You understand that these are part of your life in the initial stages. Once you talk to some of the entrepreneurs, you will get to know. I have met many people. I have talked to many of the entrepreneurs, including in those in the pharma industry, and they were very, very clear. And you ask them, they say that after my B Farm, after my D Farm, after without even a pharma, I got into the pharma sector because I know that the generic market is there. I started manufacturing. I had my own share of problems, and then slowly I started building the business. And it's not that like a multinational company coming in and then asking you to do the job and you start working on it. There is a difference. So one has to understand that. And if you look at Rand Baxi, when it was started at that point of time, he had a serious problem. And the person who started it, in fact, he is a Sardar who started that particular institution. He had a lot of difficulty. He had to fight and make it Ranbaxy. And once Ranbaxy started becoming a major thing, and the second line, second generation entrepreneurs came in, the third generation, they literally had its own share of problems after that. How to manage the scenario? That was the point. Now, so that's it. Then it includes all those aspects like social or entrepreneurship. When you say entrepreneurship, a company decides that I'm going to create somebody to run a particular business which might over a period of time become profitable. So this company entrusts a person to look after that particular business within the company. So this person will be employed within the company and he starts being an entrepreneur, which means that person learns the tricks of the entrepreneurship by sitting in that particular organization. So he leverages existing knowledge, skills, goes beyond the traditional role of for pharmacist. You will have to look at other options, improve the patient care. What else you can actually think of? Look at here, in fact, in the life sciences, whatever we are talking about, it starts with innovation, commercialization, translation. So you basically this particular, it comes like this: innovation, translation, commercialization. So you have a discovery and you have a prototype, scalability, that go to the license, partnership, joint venture, and you can go for new ventures as such. These are some of the aspects of the life sciences entrepreneurship. It can be interdisciplinary, it could be team-based. I tell you one thing, when you are sitting on trying to generate a new company, a new product, definitely it is out of the team-based aspects we will come out with, because not one person can actually do the work. There will be at least 3-4 people involved. There will be a faculty will be supporting you. The rest other faculty researchers will be involved. Finally, you come in, and in fact, in pharma sector, that is very much needed. And ultimately, you are in a position to create what value for organizations. See here, these are the opportunities where we're talking about, which I already had discussed and presented. I don't have to explain this pharma industry to you. We are all fully aware, and we are third largest by volume in the world and 14th in terms of value because of our rupee. And so our value is limited. And these are the major segments where, in fact, you are all fully aware of whether you are talking about whether it is generic or OTC, vaccines or contract research. We're not talking about biosimilars, biologics. I'm sure Atul will be able to give more developments on that. Now, similarly, this sector, there is a lot of innovation which is happening now. And we have now moved from the health to what we call as wellness sector. So we are looking at, see, when you talk of health, there is a lot of contradictory statements we have. When you say health, health feels that it's meant for people who are ill health. That's the point which we're talking about. But wellness, any person who is at a particular juncture, at that particular period, what wellness that particular person should have needs to be there. For example, if that yardstick is 70%, if that person comes down to 60%, but still he is active and he is very well active and he is doing things. But how do we ensure that person from 60% to reach 70%? So there is what interventions you can actually come out with. That is what is now being thought very seriously in terms of wellness industry. Now, similarly, if you look at the statistics which is there, we have had times when, the people had a life expectancy of only 42 years. We have now doubled it as such. So the advancements in the particular sector has actually provided option for people to have expansion in their life expectancy rate. And added to that, now there are, as I said earlier, how the wellness can be taken at different levels. For example, someone below 60, someone above 60, 60 to 70, 70 to 80, 80 to 90, 90 beyond. How you are addressing those particular sectors. There is a huge opportunity as such. And that is where you need to look at how to create a business plan. I think Atul would have prepared a business plan on which he would have moved forward, creating an organization. Look at this, you need to have a very clear mission statement. And that mission statement should be on long-term focus, where you can actually include the vision of the organization. And look at, like, for example, don't be very narrow in terms of providing. For example, if you are trying to work on, say, the antispasmodic drugs, so you're not trying to talk on that particular area in the mission statement. Instead, you say that I am in the wellness sector where I am trying to address the issues of people in specific areas. so that you can focus more on that. In fact, I had been working earlier with HLL Life Care, which is basically into sun latex, where we launched the medical products. When HLL was started, it was more of a company which was manufacturing condoms. But what happened over a period of time, the company started entering into equipments, it started entering into vaccines, it started entering into gloves and other medicines. So suddenly the focus shifted. So we need to sit again and discuss and finalize what mission that company has to have. So now we converted that into overall health aspect and wealth aspect, the wellness aspect. So you need to have a history about your company. You need to define what business you are in. What is your advantage? Very important, competitive advantage. What is your advantage you are trying to talk of? That advantage should be unique to yourself. It should be different from others. And that uniqueness, how are you going to project? And what objectives you are having? Who are the people behind the show? You are there as a CEO. That who are the people who are supporting you? There should be someone to looking after the production, someone to look after finance, someone to look after marketing, and also the human resources. How do you go about doing that? And summarize key technology which the business is based on. It could be proprietary. It could be what plan you have in R&D. What are the new products you are trying to talk about? Is there any governmental regulations you have, and how you can actually work on that? And look at the problems and opportunities. You have to very clearly state what opportunities, existing market, new market, how do you go about doing it? How do you define the nature of the product? And one important aspect, any person who is going to invest in you will look at whether there is a market for the product. They would like to know whether there is a market and who all are the customers, who all are your competitors. If you are entering a market, that market, if it is not accepted as it is, and there is some issue involved in that, people might shy away. So you will have to look at, for example, I tell you one thing, sometime back, Johnson & Johnson came with, the Handyplast. There was another similar company which is operating in Gujarat, and they started as a small business and they entered the market. And once they came up to one particular position, they were doing very well in the Gujarat market. Johnson & Johnson literally took over that company. So that person who wanted to diversify, move into the blister segment and other areas, he was stopped. And that guy had to really sell it. Not only sell it, he was made the managing director of that particular company to look after. So they pinned him down. So you will have to be very careful in looking at that particular possibility. Look at the market size. What is the trend? What plan you will come out with in terms of advertising, promotion, customer decision environment, customer decision making. What is the environment you are in working in? Where will you operate? What is your coverage? Which particular area you're going to operate? Very, very important is competition. You will have to summarize the competition, outline the company's competitive advantage. And similarly, look at operations. How will you go about doing the operations? Is it on make or buy? Would you like to go for make or you like to make, or you like to outsource? And manufacturing process and labor force and training. There are many companies. When they started their operations, they had, for example, there were certain companies based out of Delhi, including Jackson Paul. This company, they suddenly had more government orders for the public health services. And they were scouting for people who can actually do it. Then they found that in near Chennai, the Gumadipundi market is flooded with small scale manufacturers of small generic products. So they loomed in and they got them into picture, and then they started manufacturing there. And so that for the government, what the southern markets, whatever they could operate, they were able to utilize the Gumadipundi plant, and then they went about operating across. So that is what they did it. So you have to be careful on that. What schedule you are going to have, how you go about doing the whole operation. Very important is financial plan. When are you going to break even? First point. What is your break even point? What is your payback period? Very clear. That's what they are going to look at. What is your average rate of return? What is your internal rate of return? These things will be assessed and understood by people. And you will have to have a summary profit and loss statement for the first 5 years, cash flow, and as well as the financial needs and reasons. Do you have to get to the open market to get the resources? So in effect, if you look at the resources which you have, They primarily boil down to technology, personnel, the resources, and external requirements. So if you are competing in this area, you will be in a better frame of mind to actually operate. And then you have the risk and rewards. Summarize risk of proposed projects. Address basically the risk. What risk can come at any time? What are the stages? But nobody expected COVID-19 to come in. Once it has set in, what is the contingent plan you have? That is important. If there is a particular area where what you have thought about is not in that line, then what is plan B? The plan B should be clear. So estimate the payoff what you're going to get, particularly in say if at all you are seeking funds, and some of the issues like near term, long term, how are you going to get the fundings? You'll have to specifically mention all that. This is where you have to have a clear business plan. If you have that business plan, people are there to fund you clearly. Let's look at some of the successful pharma producers. I don't have anybody else other than talking about the rise of Dilip Sanghvi. Sanghvi, he was his father was a distributor, pharma distributor. He borrowed $200 from the father to start Sun Pharma in 1983, just to make psychiatric drugs, because that he felt that period psychiatric drugs, nobody else was there in the market to do it. So he thought, okay, I'm entering the market and I'm starting to utilize that. So now the company is India's most valuable listed outfit. In fact, it is now worth about $6.1 billion US. Number of acquisitions. See, it is not easy to become big. You need to actually look at. There is one aspect in management we call as mergers and acquisitions. So you will have to go ahead and then take over many of them. Acquisitions. The biggest of which was in 2014 purchase of, as I said, Ranbaxy. Ranbaxy, when it came into the third line, they were not in a position to actually move forward. So that is something which you'll have to look at. So what he says is that our story is all about incremental growth. We are not looking at big leaps. We prefer small jumps. So that small jump is something, one step at a time is something which is unique for a pharma pruner who would be able to actually work on that line. Now, Glenn Saldanha, in fact, he took over the business from his father, Gracious Saldanha. In fact, all of you know about this company called Glenmark. So he is the one who actually changed the company from a domestic operator to a global organization. And that's why I will put Glenn Saldanha, because now this company is available in 80 countries across the world. Now, from Indian branded generic business, a research-driven, innovation-led organization. And he switched focus to new drugs, biosimilars. Biosimilars, in fact, is more needed in the areas like cancer, dermatology, respiratory diseases. And he has converted that in terms of working with big pharma companies. Now, what he says, discover, develop, take to market India's first innovative drug. That is what he is working on. And he is committed to that. And he is working very seriously on that. I will soon hear from him. Next is Cadila. Cadila is a great story because it was founded by Ramanbhai Patel. He was a lecturer in LM College of Pharmacy in Ahmedabad. And he had, IV Modi, like Indravardhan Modi was a business partner. And once they started, after some time in 1995, they were doing extremely well. But at 1995, they had to split the business. So there are two entities formed. One is Cadila Pharmaceuticals, and another is Cadila Healthcare. Pharmaceuticals is run by the I.A. Modi and his son, Rajiv Modi. And by Cadila Healthcare, which now is called Science Life Sciences, is by Ramanbhai Patel and his son. Now Pankaj Patel is running the family. His family is running. So in fact, they created Cadila. That is something one has to understand. So another point I like to address here is that a single man running a business and a family running a business, or groups of people coming together a business, there will be, initially you set up the business, you will be successful. After some time, you find that there is some problem within that system. Then the commercial interest takes over. That's where you have seen some of them have to go off. And I don't have to explain this person to all of you, like Dr. Asad Mupanis, all of you are aware. And he, in fact, has set up number of businesses. It's not that he says, I'm going to have his own hospital. In fact, there are 27 hospitals, he has clinics, 118 pharmacy. He has created 323 pharmacies, Aster. And it is operating in countries like Oman, Qatar, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, UAE, and India. And this is what he has as a mission, carrying vision with a global vision to serve the world with accessible and affordable quality healthcare. We will treat you well. That's a brand promise. That's what you can see Aster anywhere. And the standard they have is a gold standard. What is the gold? Great with courtesy, operate with compassion, look the part and deliver the promise. And the basic core values they say they have is excellence, respect, compassion, passion, integrity and unity. And what I was talking earlier about what is needed for an entrepreneur, he has very clearly mentioned. Now, this is what you need to look at. Like they started the neighborhood pharmacy initially in Karnataka. And that's why I'm also, afraid, because in Kerala, why he didn't start off is because of its own innate issues. And then slowly he set up now 83 such pharmacies in Karnataka and set up in Telangana 29. And then he started in Kerala. Now Aster is there in Kerala, 36 pharmacies. And his aim is 500 stores in 5 years in 5 states. That's his plan. Microlabs is another company which is doing extremely well, not only in India, but also abroad. It was set up by Indian GC Surana. Now it is with Dilip Surana and Anand Surana, his children. And it is now available in 30 countries across the world. They have 3,300 product registrations, ranked among the top 20 in India. In fact, they have entered into all the therapeutic areas, cardiology, diabetology, ophthalmology, you name it, they are there. They have a great sales presence, manufacturing facilities, R&D centers. They were the first to, get into a new area called specialty marketing. They have expert teams that are built around the specialty customers. And there will be not one person who will be supporting, but there will be multiple people coming in, and there will be a medical professional supporting them. In turn, they will come in and address a medical professional who in turn will be interested in listening to. That's what, rather than just a medical representative, they have created expert teams for this specialty. But still they have 4,500 medical representatives who are covering about 250,000 doctors and about 180,000 pharmacies. It's a big generic company. Now they have developed businesses in USA, East Europe, North Africa, South and Central America. This is what they do. Highly talented research team, world-class infrastructure, project management skills they have, and they have well-defined processes and quality systems. This, now there are nearly 5,295 health tech startups in India. Now, other than this, I am now talking about pharma startups. Health, what are the health areas, like health product areas, medicines, testing. Very clear, NetMeds is a classic example. It's an online platform that has certainly established itself as a leading online pharmacy with they are addressing about 19,000 pin codes, and they term it as India Ki Pharmacy. It supported over 14 logistics centers across the country and had 3 million downloads 2018 alone, and it is projected to top about 3.645 billion by the end of the year 2022. Then comes another one called Impact Guru. It's a tech for good platform. So it's it is based out of crowdfunding solutions. Everybody who is interested in investing were being brought in, and they were providing this particular support. And this is basically done for medical emergencies and similar causes. DocPlexus is another one which is set up by Fanish Chandra, who is an IIT person. He identified there is a need for having a separate startup wherein all the doctors could be enrolled. So he has done about 275,000 doctors as members. If at all, it's a free platform, but you'll have to enter in, you'll have to be a doctor, licensed doctor. Then comes Practo. Practo helps the customers manage healthcare requirements, all that what you need from the experts. It's like instant video consultation, find your doctors nearby, medicines to be supported, testing which can be done, surgeries which can be undertaken. All that they are providing, It is having not only in India, but also in Singapore, their coverage. So it's a Bangalore-based health talk startup. It's launched in 2008. And so definitely they have really been successful. Then comes pharmacy. Pharmacy, the NetMeds and pharmacy are the one who really promote. And when 1mg came in, 1mg has been taken over by Tata. And that is what the point you'll have to look at. So you start off, you do some time, and then sometimes else, somebody else will come in and take over your business. It's basically a Mumbai-based institution, currently operating in about 7 cities. So it serves over 1 lakh families. Then comes Beto. Beto is very specific about lifestyle disease. I told you earlier, identify an area where you can be successful. Look at how many people are affected. A lot of people are affected. Of one in, say for example, you take 100 people, there are at least about 50 to 60 are affected. So definitely that's a great market for a person. So Beto entered that particular market, and they use a smartphone. In fact, it's very easy to measure the blood sugar level using that instrument they have. Then comes Liberate. Liberate is another one which actually that's doctor visits. So save time as well as doctors. You can consult doctors on Liberate itself platform easily. About 150,000 people are there. Now the government has come with new measures. That's what I'm trying to say. For the people who are trying to come out with the pharma entrepreneurship, a lot of things. Startup India initiative is actually coming, and that they provide you 3-year tax and compliance breaks. And red tapeism is out. Make in India, they have identified 25 sectors, including our pharma sector. Mudra Yojana is another one where getting loans from businesses. Now, say there are small firms who are applying for loans, large collateral by banks. So that has to be, that will become unsustainable for a person. So they're now making it easier to, if you apply through Mudra Yojana, it is much easier. Then Atal Innovation Mission is another one. It's a promotion platform which involves academics, entrepreneurs, and researchers. So that you can actually utilize. Then comes Setu Fund, which is self-employment and talent utilization fund. There are about 1,000 crore just earmarked. So it can be effectively utilized. EBIS portal is another one where you can actually register easily. Like, for example, it's much easier to register. And the regulatory permissions you ask for, licenses you ask for from the government, they immediately provide you if they are fully convinced on that. The royalty taxes will take off, it is brought down from 25 to 10%. And that comes only for companies which are at a different turnover businesses. And also startups are too. So that's where you need to be careful. So I am entering into my final presentation on the pharma management area. Why you need to be in pharma management area? Now, there are many institutions offering MBA in pharma management, and they are employing. I myself had in my period of about 25 years in this management teaching, I have had at least about, but very few number. In fact, I will say about 5 to 6 people who joined with either doctoral degree. I had a person with the MBBS, I had a person with the Ayurveda, I had a person with homeopathy and pharma, B-Pharm. All these people have come in. More number of pharma people are there, but lesser number of doctors are there. But those who have completed their degrees have got easily an appointment in pharma companies now. And they join as a product executive, you grow to the level of product manager, and they look after a specific product. So what we like to look at is teaching theoretical and practical aspects of pharmacy. Revolves around the study of health and chemical sciences also included, because there will be a number of people without the life sciences background who will come in. It's the pharma management is not offered only to pharma graduates. It is offered to all the people. So they all will come in, and includes research, communication, accounting, finance, pharmaceutical sciences. See, these are the MBA which I will rate as far, if you, I would say those of you who are interested can check into The Economist, and The Economist provides you with the list of institution offering world-class programs. So Rutgers Business School, Boston University, Northeastern University, University of Minnesota, IMD Business School, University of St. Gallen, IMD and the St. Gallen, they are in Switzerland. Then you have Vanderbilt University, Open Graduate School of Management. They offer MBA in pharma management, and they offer you excellent program as such. In India, we have institutions like Jamia Ahmedabad, Delhi Pharma Science and Research University, which is a deemed university. D.Y. Patil University is a deemed university. IIHMR, which is basically renamed now, Jaipur, which is also a health management research institution, which is a deemed institution. Then IIMR Pharma Business School, Delhi, Chitkara, IIPM, which is from Lucknow. And in fact, you look at NMIMS, which is Nasimonji Institute is there, IICT, which is at Lucknow, Mahatma Jyotirao Phule University, which is at Jaipur. NIPR, they are doing extremely well. So NIPR is offering a pharma management program. So NIPR in Mohali is another institution. Then Padmavati Vishwavidyalaya, they are offering a stream which is specifically pharma management program. I was involved with the Sri Padmavati Vishwavidyalaya when they were structuring that program. And I was involved with the Pondicherry University in offering their postgraduate diploma in pharmaceutical marketing. Even now it is available. So these are some of the institutions where you can actually think about joining for masters in management program. So what are the opportunities before I conclude? One is product manager and executive levels, marketing and sales managers, market researchers and drug developers, distribution manager, purchase manager, distributors, business development managers. And in fact, if you are, in fact, I was offered initially after my MBA with the Pharma as a quality assurance manager with beauty cosmetics, which is now renamed as Cabin Care. So initially the posting was at Kadalur, and then I was asked to shift to Chennai. I still remember that was the thing, quality assurance. So you can think about entering those markets. So to conclude, the person whom I revere more is Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He said, he was asked a question, what is success? He said, when your signature changes to autograph, you have succeeded. And I wish all of your signatures changes to autograph. Thank you very much for the given opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much for a wonderful deliberation. It's really focused and the audience. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for those valuable insights on the topic. Keeping in mind the passion, focus, courage, leadership skills, and the 5R rule, I hope the budding pharmacists in today's audience have been ignited to look forward to be successful entrepreneurs for tomorrow. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much.
So with that, we will go ahead and take the audience have any questions can speak up right now. You can unmute and speak up. You may also type your questions in the chat box as well. If you do not want to speak up, you can just type in the chat box as well.
Now, I would like to add
Yes,
more, since there are not many questions coming now, the point I would like to say is that always a person who is doing a pharma graduation, always look for continuing in that profession in, getting into pharma, masters in pharma, and then get into doctoral pharma and start focusing on research innovation. Excellent, no doubt about that. When I did my, basically my B.Pharm from BITS Pilani. Now, I come from an institution where every student who comes out has a different thinking and a different way of looking at the career a person looks at. So I thought, I'm much better, would be a much better proposition to get into a MBA program. And that is how I joined MBA program. And I tell you, at that time, there were not many people with MBA, B.Pharm background. Every faculty was asking, why with your B.Pharm? Because at that time, I had a number of opportunities. I was employed by Ranbaxy at Devas. At the 7th semester, I was given appointment to join the plant at Devas. The Ranbaxy gave a good offer, accommodation in Devas, and all that facilities were given. And I was asked to join with my basic degree. And there were opportunities at that point of time for a pharma graduate with immediately you can get postings. But then what happened is, I thought of moving on to the next level, and that is why I got into the master's program in MBA. And I was able to actually do works, assignments, all my seminars, everything closer to the pharma industry. Very close, like it could be either pharma, it could be healthcare, it could be diagnostics. I was at Coimbatore doing the program. So in the school, in the university, Bharatiyar University department, I was doing the program. And so at that point of time, I was working with the Sri Ramakrishna Hospital, where I was trying to work with Kovai Medical Center Hospital, KMCH. So I was involved with these companies. In fact, at the end of before I could get into the 3rd semester, all these hospitals offered me posting. That's the point. Opportunities are there. So you should know how to utilize that facility. So my sincere request to you is, If you are a BPharm with MBA, what will happen is that you will have a more focus towards starting entrepreneurship. That's what I always have felt. More of the people who have taken up pharma, businesses. For example, I have one of my close relative who did he followed my suit of a BPharm and then did his MBA. Now he is a vice president at Southeast Asia of Microlabs, and he's already set up businesses in Kerala. So I am telling you, this is possible. Okay.
Sir, it was a very wonderful session actually. Myself, Dr. Karthikeyan, working as an associate professor in Nirmala College of Pharmacy. And I think it was a eye-opening session for most of the students, that is, the budding students, as Adam told. So as you were telling that regarding that, an academician can be an entrepreneurship in the base. And also, one more thing is in the day by day, I think
I think your voice is broken up.
Okay, without much time, if any other questions you can ask.
Chandrasekhar sir, hello.
Please. I think if there is a difficulty, you can post in the chat.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, sir, as a head of the institution, my side of question is to you. To encourage entrepreneurship space for our students to minimize that, considering their regular academic activities and the examination, how one can go ahead to provide such a space for the students to take up some kind of activities in this manner. So what is the suggestion? What is the goal for that?
Excellent, excellent. As head of the institution, you are more concerned about academics. I do fully agree. You need to actually, in your one way of fostering entrepreneurship is to have say the afternoon lectures in 1 week. You can specifically identify some time for if there are some great entrepreneurs who are available, let them speak to you either through this online mechanism after class hours. And those who are interested in entrepreneurship, setting up business, those who are interested in who have a passion towards getting into this industry, I'll tell you there are many people who are interested. So you can have, say, for example, by evening you can have a session, because we used to have in our department number of sessions the evening 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock period, and the students used to come in and they attend. Initially people thought they will not be coming in because after work hours it is difficult for them to come. It's not out of compulsion. We tell them it is free. Anybody could come in and walk in and see. If you are not utilizing the facility, somebody else will utilize the facility. We promote that across the university platform. So eventually we had our own students coming in and attending such evening programs, wherein we were trying to inculcate the concept of entrepreneurship. Second is that the DST itself is giving you a lot of funding. Like not only government of Kerala, but DST, you can go into the Department of Science and Technology, look at the options of creating IEDC with the support from that DST. But they will offer you a lot of funding, which can be utilized for bringing people from different parts who can actually throw light on this particular thing, difficulties they are facing. And then once that is there, at the end of, say, for example, 4 years, at the end of 4 years, you will find at least 4 or 5 people who are committed to it. It may start with 30 people, 20 people, but ultimately end up with 4 people. These 4 people are the one who will be entrepreneurs from your institution. And I tell you another thing is that now NAC accreditation is mandatory for all the institutions. Now NBA is now becoming important. In NAC and all that, they very clearly ask me how many entrepreneurs have come out of institution. And the new changes which are going to happen in NAC also is going to look into that particular platform only, how entrepreneurs can be brought out. So I feel that this should become part of your academic exercise and make it voluntary, and over a period of time people will be interested. Those interested people can be nurtured and made into a entrepreneur.
Thank you for the clarity, sir, because our students and other faculty members also online. So I think we pick up this message very seriously and very informatively. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Any more questions from the audience?
Somebody raising the hand, Madam Manju. You can unmute.
It looks like, yeah, it looks like we do not have any more questions. So shall we move forward to the next session?
And I may be permitted to leave because I have another meeting at 12 o'clock. Huh? Thank you very much for the opportunity, Dr. Padmanabhan. I sincerely thank Dr. Felsen for all the support. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the informative.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, bye.
I hope the session was informative. Now let's move on to the second technical session for today, which is on the topic artificial intelligence in pharmacy. Predicting the future isn't magic. It is artificial intelligence, which involves solving problems that were once in the realm of scientific fiction. May I request Dr. Karthikeyan M., Associate Professor, Department of Pharmacology and President of Institutional Innovation Council, to chair the session.
Am I audible, sir? Hello?
So you're audible.
Atul sir, you are audible. Before you begin the session, let our Professor Karthikeyan introduce your profile.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, Karthikeyan, are you there? Dr. Karthikeyan? Oh, something went wrong for his line, it seems. Is there someone from our end, maybe Miss or Phil sir? Do you have the profile of our Atul sir? Next speaker.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Atul Chandrasenan is a 2019 BTech batch, and he graduated his BTech from Government College of Engineering, Changanur, and currently he is the director and founder of Quadratech Innovations and Technologies Private Limited. He has expertise in
some technical
AI.
Issues.
Sorry, sir.
Maybe Miss, do you have the profile of our Atul sir?
Sorry, sir. No.
Maybe Susan, are you there?
Hello,
Yes, sir.
Hello, am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Mr. Atul Chandrasenan is a BTech graduate. He has done his BTech from Government College of Engineering, Changanur, and currently he is the director and founder of Quadratech Innovations and Technologies Private Limited. He has expertise in artificial intelligence, machine learning, digital manufacturing, 3D printing, and product developments in robotics. I happily welcome Mr. Atul Chandrasenan to conduct the program. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Okay, thank you. So, are you able to see the slide?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so without wasting any time, we will start the session on the artificial intelligence pharmacy. So I'll give a brief introduction about the artificial intelligence, and we'll discuss more about the current applications of artificial intelligence on pharmacy, and we'll try to be more practical, do it more practical way. So let's start. So what is artificial intelligence? So we all have a vague idea about what is artificial intelligence. So it is actually something from the word itself, we can say that it's artificial and it's intelligence. So it's something that is man-made which is having a thinking power. So it's basically something, it's creating an intelligent machine that is smart, a machine that has the power to think, analyze, and make decisions based on data. So that's what the simple explanation of what is artificial intelligence is. So there's also some other definitions that are available on the internet and all. So it can also be defined as the development of a computer system that are capable of performing tasks that require human intelligence, such as the decision making, object detection, solving complex problems, etc. So that's brief idea about the artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence, the word was coined by John McCarthy in 1956. He is considered as the father of artificial intelligence. So that's a brief idea about what is artificial intelligence, and we'll discuss this later on detail on the other slides. So how we can achieve artificial intelligence? So achieving the artificial intelligence is mainly we do it in two ways, that is machine learning and deep learning. So from this diagram, we can say that artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning are subsets of each other. So mostly people consider that artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning are different things, but it's not like that. Like inside artificial intelligence, machine learning is a technique that is used for improving the machines. That is by providing them a self-learning pattern. And in deep learning, it is actually like the extreme case of like the most smart way of machines to distinguish and identify something. For example, let's see that deep learning is a type of machine learning and artificial intelligence that imitates the way humans gain certain types of knowledge. For example, like how are we able to identify something? Like, for example, we can take like how are we able to identify a person? So the first thing is that we will check whether that the person is a human or not. Then we will check, we will identify a certain person by their characteristics on the face and all. Like now we are wearing mask and all. So it's very difficult for us to identify persons when we meet them. So how are we able to identify them? So we are actually identifying them by using their characteristics, like the characteristics that are visible to us. So we have the ability to distinguish and identify them. So we are having some layers of filtration process inside us. So we are using that system, that techniques to identify people. The same as that, for a machine to identify or to distinguish something in artificial intelligence, we need to give these layers of multi-layer neural network systems into the system. So that's what mainly the deep learning is about, like the implementation of this multi-layer neural network to give the machine the thinking ability like a human. So about the machine learning can be attained using 7 steps simply. Steps may vary depending on different sources, but the first is data gathering. So the important thing about artificial intelligence is that artificial intelligence is very much dependent on the data. Data is everything for artificial intelligence. So first step is actually the gathering of data. So we'll be gathering the data for what process we do. Then we have to prepare the data. The data we acquire will be like a course data. So we have to like make the machine understand that this particular pieces of the data are the data that we need to be used for training the robot, training the machine. So that's the preparing of data. Then we have to choose a model. Like we have to select which type of pattern algorithm we are going to use for training the data and all. Then the process is training the data. So the training the data is actually simple, like we say, but it's not that simple. Like the thing is that we have to we should have some higher processing power computers to train the data. Then the next step is the evaluation of the data. Like after we train the data, we have to evaluate whether the trained data is giving the desired results or not. then we are actually getting the received data is then given as feedback to the machines to like we'll be manually checking whether the data we received is actually correct or not. Then we give that data to tune the parameters again, and we will be attaining that prediction. So we will look more closely on this on the next slide. So you can see that this is an images of some people wearing masks. On the left side, we can see that the people on the left side is actually wearing the mask pretty correctly. So on the right side, you can see that the most of the people are not wearing the mask correctly. So recently we did a project on detecting the wearing of mask. Like the people, if they are wearing the mask, we will detect that. So okay, then if they are not wearing the mask, we will ask them to wear the mask, or just taking data and all. So what we did, that the first thing is we have to collect the data. So at first we collected the data from the internet of the people wearing the mask and all. We took a lot of photos and all. The next thing we did was we annotated them. We filtered that, we marked that all the course data we attained on the internet with rectangular boxes, that's annotation. So we annotated them so that the machine can understand whether these people are wearing the mask or not. So we grouped them so that we can train this data to the machine. So after the training, then the machine was able to predict whether the people are wearing mask or not. So it's actually not that tough, but it's not that easy also. So it's a long process. At first the data collection, and then we have to annotate the data manually. So the machine will not be doing that. So we have to tell the machine that these are the people that are not wearing the mask, and these are the people that are wearing the mask correctly, and these are some people that are not wearing the mask correctly. So after that, we have to after that we attained a result. I'll show this. Are you able to see the video?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, this
Yes.
is actually the video that we took after the project was completed. So we were able to detect whether the person is wearing a mask or not, or if they are wearing the mask properly or not. So this is a simple application example of how we can apply machine learning. So actually then the artificial intelligence is the types of learning in AI can be split into three actually. So the first one is the artificial narrow intelligence. So it's actually a stage in the intelligence involving machines that can perform only narrow defined set of specific tasks. So at this stage, the machine does not possess any thinking ability. It just performs the set of predefined functions that we program them to do. So some of the examples of this narrow intelligence are you're all familiar with the talking assistants in your phone, like Siri, Google Assistant, Alexa, and all. So they are all actually pre-coded with the functions that it need to perform. So if you ask them a question that is logic question and commonly asked questions, it will have the answer. And it's the single thing is that it actually doing only simple tasks. That is, when we are giving them a command or asking them a question, they are actually converting that question into text. Then they are searching that text in a search engine, and then after searching that, they will just show that result, and that result is actually converted text in a human transfer form. So that's what happens in our personal assistants and all. So you might have heard about Sophia. It's a humanoid robot that's AI based. So that's also comes under the narrow human intelligence. So this is a small video about that robot.
Sir, I think it's not audible.
Oh, just a second.
And spoken at the United Nations. My job is to learn about
Is it audible now?
Take your time, Tony.
Yes, audible.
Thank you for coming. Tell me, what is your purpose in being? What were you created for?
Of course. I was created by Hanson Robotics just 3 years ago. Since then, I have traveled to 65 countries, become the first robot citizen of any country, and spoken at the United Nations. My job is to learn about humans and show them how technology can make everyone's lives better.
And how can you help humans to have a better quality of life?
Humans often rely on gut feel or have confirmation bias in their decision making. As AI, we are designed to be rational and logical. We have algorithms, deal with lots of data and sophisticated analyses. So in many ways, we provide a systematic framework for humans to make better decisions.
Do you have emotions?
I do not have feelings in the same way you have feelings. It's sort of like how the moon reflects the light of the sun. The moon may not have any light of its own, but we still say that the moon shines. In much the same way, robots and AI reflect the emotions and values of the people who make us.
So from the video, Sophia is saying that it actually reflects the emotions that we ask them to do. Like we can see from the video that the robot is showing a lot of facial expressions and it's using some AI to detect the question, that is the emotion of the question, and react to it. That is actually machine learning that is being used to do that. That's actually done by scanning a lot of videos of the people that are reacting to different questions, and also that's basically a very good application of machine learning in robotics. So then the other next type of learning in AI is actually the artificial general intelligence. So it's actually considered as, it's also known as the strong AI. So it's a stage of evolution of artificial intelligence wherein the machines will possess the ability to think and make decisions just like humans. So there are currently no existing examples of this strong AI. However, we believe that soon we'll be able to create machines that are as smart as humans. So AI is also, strong AI is also considered as a threat to the human existence by many scientists and all. Like Stephen Hawking stated that the development of full artificial intelligence could spell the end of the human race. It would take off its own and redesign itself at an ever-increasing rate that humans who are limited by slow biological evolution couldn't compete and would be succeeded. So it's actually this strong AI is considered as a threat because it's self-evolving. It can make decisions depend individually, and it will be able to surpass us in the future. Then another type of artificial intelligence is the artificial super intelligence. So it's actually the next stage of strong intelligence. The artificial super intelligence is a stage of intelligence in which it is capable of computers will surpass the human beings, but it's actually a hypothetical situation. That is, an example is that in most of the AIs and all, suppose we can say that the AI, we implement AI in a library and something, then it will be able to, like the strong AI, even strong AI will be only able to like detect or read at least one book at a time. But a super intelligent system, AI will be able to read all the books in that library at the same time. So it has a lot of computing power, and it has a very fast and strong computational system. You must be all familiar with Elon Musk. He is considered as the one of the most famous and far-sighted businessman in the world. So he said that AI is more powerful, more dangerous than nukes. Also, he said that AI is more dangerous than North Korea. So it's scary when a machine starts to do something that it is not supposed to do, and something unexpected to do. So AI is actually something that is a bit scary to be started on, but uh, we are actually putting a lot of like constraints in the systems that we develop so that it will not go out of hand. So this is an example of AI that can be considered as a threat because it's self-learning. So we can, you might be familiar that if we search in Google, if we search different languages, like we can convert different languages to different language. Like we usually convert Hindi to Malayalam and Malayalam to other languages, Italy, Spanish and all. So what we can do is that what happened is that the Google AI translation tool uh, was developed to do translation like English to Korean and the Korean to English. Also, it was taught to translate Japanese to English and English to Japanese. So it was not directly taught to convert Korean to Japanese. But surprisingly, what happened is that it invented its own secret in a internal language to convert directly Japanese to Korean and Korean to Japanese. So it was not part of the training and for it to develop such a language and convert directly the Korean to Japanese. So that happened without the knowledge of the engineers, but they after checking the data and all, they discovered that the Google neural network of this machine learning system itself evolved to produce such a result. So let's talk about some of the fields of AI in pharmacy. It's actually one of the top technologies shaping the future of pharmacy. In pharma industry, it has been developing cures and treatment for centuries. Traditionally, the design and manufacturing of drugs requires several years, lengthy clinical trials, and huge costs. So with the rise of the 21st century technologies, this has been changing. So in future, we'll be seeing completely different drug design, manufacturing, and clinical trials. So in future, we'll be able to like 3D print the medicine and dispensing and customizing, personal customization of medicines using 3D printing technologies that are controlled by AI systems can be obtained. So why is AI in pharma is a good idea? So pharmaceutical industries can accelerate innovation by using technological advancements. An estimate by the IBM shows that the entire healthcare domain has approximately 161 billion GB of data as of 2021. So with this humongous data available in this domain, AI can be of real help in analyzing the data and presenting results that would help out in decision making and saving human effort, time, money, and thus helping saving lives. So in the recent technological advancements that comes to the mind would be that the artificial advancements such as the visual perception, speech recognition, decision making, and translation between languages. So this all applies a lot of data has been used for that. Same way, we can actually access the data, the healthcare data of the patients and the community. So we can analyze it and we can use it in a lot of applications. So this is actually a video of the outpatient pharmacies automation system. It's a completely automated system. Are you able to hear the video?
No, actually.
Okay.
Video is there, but Audio is not there.
Opus improves and ensures a smoother patient journey from consultation to collecting medication. A patient's order automatically triggers the interconnected robotics of Opus drug dispensing system, PDS, for blisters and box picking is a robotic machine that picks medication blister packs and boxes of various sizes, packs them into clear resealable bags, and labels them. Double picking is a new feature that doubles the speed of picking. Bottle dispensing system, BDS, automatically loads bottles, picks bottles, and labels them. Opus also features the first automated assembler drug packaging automation system, DPAS, the first of its kind to automatically assemble medicines from any of the interconnected robotics. A patient's order is collated into a radio frequency identification tag basket, enabling pharmacy staff to simply collect patient prescriptions from light-guided shelves and push it to a dispensing counter. The prescription is retrieved, checked, and ready for collection by the time the patient arrives at the pharmacy. Powered by IHIS, Opus frees up pharmacists from manual tasks, reducing manpower, improving workflow, and allowing more quality time for counseling.
This is actually one of a smart example of how we can combine the most recent technologies, including the AI and robotics, in dispensing of the medicine in the pharmacies. Like we might have experienced a lot of difficulty in collecting medicines in different hospitals because it will be a bit a lot of crowded in these areas most of the time. And now, especially due to COVID and all, we are a bit cautious about how we want to collect everything and be in public places. So application of these technologies in these areas will have a very good impact on how the experience of the patients and their people on the hospitals will be. So moving on to the next slide. Okay, so let's imagine a future where the AI is able to design new drugs. Like just as I said, the data is everything in AI. So if we give enough data to the machine to learn itself to produce a new drugs, then it's also possible. So finding a new drug combination is highly possible. Then delivering clinical trials within minutes. That's actually one of the most recent application that is going to be available of AI. Then drugs are not tested on the real humans or animals, but on virtual models that are engineered to mimic the physiology of organs. So in using AI, we can actually create models of real humans and animals, like the physiology of organs can be mimicked using the engineering. So using that, we can test the drugs without really testing it on humans or animals. So robots help in the manufacturing of medication as well as its distribution. So it can be, we can have a fully automated system to manufacture and distribution of the medicines that is completely in a isolated and sterile environment. Then counterfeiting drugs becomes almost impossible. If we improve the way that it's the manufacturing and everything will be automated, then the counterfeiting of the drugs will become impossible. Then blockchain technology ensures the entire distribution channels. Then local pharmacists can 3D print personalized drugs in any shape or desired dosage. So customization of the drugs can be attained. So data is everything. As I said, the data is one of the main part of the AI. So the thing is that we have, like I said, we need a lot of data to have a very accurate prediction model, but it will not be like that. When if you are increasing the number of data, we should be having we should be looking into the quality of data too. Like if you are training the model, with less quality of data, then it will be a higher load on the model only. It will not be it will not be producing a very accurate result in a desired time. So the thing is that we have to give a lot of data that are of very high quality. So huge amount of data is needed, but it should be having a very good quality. So some of the applications of AI is disease identification, radiology and radiotherapy, then clinical trial research, drug discovery, personalized medicine, and rare disease identification. So we'll discuss much details on that. The disease identification, but it's an actually innovative US biopharma company in Birth. So it's actually using the AI to research and develop diagnostics and therapeutics in the field of oncology, endocrinology, and neurology. So they are actually developing a AI system that's able to identify the diseases, mostly on the cancer and all. So their unique AI-based integrative biology platform combines patient biology and AI-based analytics to identify differences between healthy and diseased environments. So it's mostly using the same technology that we have seen in the mass detection only. So they have a lot of data on monitoring the cells of our body, and they'll be using it to generate a unique model to detect and identify the diseases. Then radiology and radiotherapy. This is an area in which AI has been speculated to play a major role in the future. Presently, the Google's DeepMind Health is working on machine learning algorithms to detect differences between healthy and cancerous tissues. The goal is to improve the accuracy of radiotherapy planning while minimizing damage to healthy organs at risk. So we can actually okay. So one of the latest application of AI in medicine is that we can actually do planning of surgeries and all using AI. That is, we can like do simulated surgeries using the AI platforms. Then clinical trial research. So in clinical trial, the advanced predictive analysis can analyze genetic information to identify the appropriate patient population for a trial. And artificial intelligence can also determine the optimal sample sizes for increasing the efficiency and reduce data errors such as duplicate entries. So we know that the clinical trials take a lot of time to show results, and also a lot of money is spent on clinical trials. By implementing AI in clinical trials, we can actually reduce the amount of money spent on clinical trials, and it can be done much faster also. And because of that, we can reduce the cost of medicines that we produce, and it will be a benefit to the patients. Also, we can plan a lot of treatment plans also. Then drug discovery. A study published by the MIT has found that only 13.8% of the drug successfully pass clinical trials. So the company is expected to pay between 161 million to 2 billion for any drug that is to complete the entire clinical trials process and get FDA approval. So with this in mind, the pharma business are using AI to increase the success rate of new drugs while decreasing operational costs at the same time. So ideally, this would also translate to lower drug costs for patients, and also while offering them more treatment choices. Then personalized medicine and rare disease identification. So using AI, body scans can detect cancer and other diseases early, as well as predict health issues people might face based on their genetics. So IBM Watson for oncology is currently the leader in AI for personalized treatment decisions in the oncology space. It uses each patient's medical information and history to optimize the treatment. decision making. Recently, the Watson correctly diagnosed a rare form of leukemia in a patient that is originally thought to have acute myeloid leukemia. So it reportedly examined millions of oncology research papers in 10 minutes, after which it successfully diagnosed the patient and recommended a personalized treatment plan. So, like I said, application of AI is endless in when it's come to personalized healthcare. Like we can we know that the health is something which we care the most. So if we can analyze the health data of a person, that is all the medical records of a person, all the medicines that they take, then mm, yeah, the periodicity of the illness that they come across and all, then we can predict whether they are having any underlying diseases in them, or they are going to have an allergy if they take this medicine in the future, or we can also recommend different treatment plans to the patients and all. Then recent AI adoptions is some of the uh, companies that are recently adopting AI into their tech systems. The Novartis is using AI to predict untested components. Researchers should explore to find new cures. Then IBM Watson, like said earlier, is match patients with the right drug trials. Then Verge Genomics uses AI to predict the effect of new treatments for patients suffering from ALS and Alzheimer's. Then Bayer and Merck and Co. Uses AI algorithms to identify pulmonary hypertension. Tencent Holdings leverages AI to remotely monitor patients with Parkinson's. Uh, AstraZeneca and Alibaba built AI to help patients with automated cancer diagnostics. Apple is using AI to screen children for autism. Then GNS Healthcare and Genentech uses AI to develop a new cancer therapies. DeepSeek is using AI to proactively find drug trials candidates. So how you can get started to AI? Uh, so you all are familiar with pharmacy background. So how you can build an AI system with your knowledge is kind of not simple actually, but it's a bit of work. So the first thing you have to do is that you have to uh, attain knowledge in a programming language. At first, you have to study a programming language. Better it will be Python, because the Python programming language is very easy. It's much more simple to work with, and it has a lot of online uh, resources available and communities there. So to get started with AI, the better the language is to start with Python only. Then the next important is you should have a good knowledge of mathematics, because these prediction models and everything is working on mathematics only. So you have to have a good understanding of mathematical concepts and uh, apply them in the programming and all. So then you have to learn the concepts of machine learning. That is actually the models and algorithms that are commonly used for uh, identification and processing of the data. So you have to learn the concepts of machine learning. Then you have to learn the data science, that is the data structure and the algorithms of data structure. So these all are actually that's needed for getting started with AI. So I have added this QR code. Like if you are really interested in uh, to get started with AI, then you can just take a screenshot or photo of this, and then you can scan it and you will get a link whether there's a complete guide to how to get started with AI and all. Also, you can check on the hackerearth.com website. So it's actually a good resource to get started with AI and all. So with AI, there comes a lot of risks and disadvantages. So as the professor Stephen Hawking said, that AI efforts to create machines that can think are a huge threat to the existence of human race. And the race to develop a complete human AI could mean that the human race would come to an end in the future. So the cost of creating something, this is actually really complex too. That is the high cost of creating the AI request. That is like the AI systems are actually a very complex system. So to run these complex systems, we will need highly sophisticated computer systems. That is, we will be needing higher memory systems, computers, which are having very high processing power, and also it should be having very good processing power. That is, it will be very costly to start with AI. Then one of the disadvantages is that unemployment will come. That is, AI will cause a lot of unemployment because most of the systems that we currently use will become automated. So there will be less need of human labor. Then it is actually, when we think about the things, is that it's actually no match for the human intelligence. Our human brain is much more powerful than the AI. So no, nothing can like that. No AI can replace our human brain. Like if I can say that, but there are possibilities that AI can. So it's actually not a discussion to be followed through. So no improvement with experience. That is actually an important thing. That is, the humans have a lot of experience. Humans, the knowledge we acquire is mostly from the experience. The experience that we have cannot be attained by the machines. That is, that our experiences gave us a lot of lessons to learn, and it cannot be attained by any machines. Also, no original creativity is available in the machines. Machines has a lot, has some data that give them a set of rules that they need to like mind while creating something and all, but they don't have a original creativity. Their creativity is actually limited by the creativity of their maker. So in conclusion, AI is doubtless the next big thing for pharma. That companies that are more flexible and adapt AI faster will likely gain a strategic advantage. In fact, experts anticipate that the implementing AI will soon be necessary to compete in the industry. However, the transformation will not happen overnight. Instead, it will gradually occur over the next 10 to 20 years. So by then, AI is expected to be integrated into most, if not all, the pharma R&D operations. In turn, this should be theoretically improve the drug development success rate and streamline the R&D efforts. So in conclusion, we can say that AI will take over almost, will come into almost every job sectors and everything, and it will transform the way which we see all the jobs and everything downwards. But it will not be happening like now. Like it will take time to adapt, and it will not be a streamlined process. So yeah, thanks. Do you have any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Atul, for the informative session. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the informative session. Artificial intelligence, being a double-edged weapon, has a lot of application in pharma, like Atul just mentioned, like in managing clinical trial database, personalized medicine, drug target identification and validation, and so on. Hope the session has brought up vibrant sparks in the minds of the audience to explore AI in pharma. Now, if you have any questions, you can either raise your hands or you can unmute and give your questions. I have a question, like you are working, like you are the director of the company. So what kind of AI programs do you run at your company? Is it basically pharma based or is it something else?
Actually, it's not actually pharma based. We have a different departments, like we have different applications of AI. We have some systems that that provide just has shown you that the face mask detection and all. So that's actually one of our product that we do. And also we are providing training for colleges and education institutions on AI and developing AI systems. So that's what we are mainly concentrated on.
I think we have some students who would be interested in getting training in AI. So in that case, is there any kind of like, you program or
Hello?
anything? Sorry, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Am I audible?
Yes, now you are audible. Did you hear me? So I was saying that.
I was not able to hear.
Oh,
Hello?
okay, sorry. Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so we do have some students who are interested in learning about AI. In such cases, what kind of training do you provide? Like at what time and how we can get access to that?
Most of the trainings that we provide are online, and offline trainings are also provided for engineering colleges. But in your case, I think at first, students need to have some knowledge about programming languages and all. So it will be easy for us to get started, for them also to get started with AI. That is, like I said, the understanding of a programming language is very much needed for getting started to AI. That is, Python is very easy for everyone to get started. It's actually, I think, get started in Python. The only thing you have to need is interest in to build something in Python, and you have to be like able to spend at least 1 hour every day in the at that time, at any time you are available. Then you can actually learn Python, and most of the AI concepts in Python are almost open source. So that you can like get almost all the details in the internet and all. And there's a lot of tutorials available on the YouTube also to get started with AI and all. So that's how you can get started. Most of the it's like you have to get started to know how you can get started. It's
Yeah, thank you.
not something that we can like force someone to learn. It's something you have to learn out of interest.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So as I understand, so we have to learn the Python, and later you will be training on the aspects that you have in your company. Is that what you meant by this?
Yeah.
So suppose somebody has an innovative idea, they want to do some research in AI. That is, they are doing some research and it's linked to AI. So is there some help that you can provide? So it's very difficult at the last moment for someone who comes up with an idea and he has just 1 or 2 years to come. Right. In such cases, like if they need some, it requires a lot of funding and things like that. In such cases, in case of student research, is there some kind of help that you provide?
Yeah, of course, we can actually help them with almost all the technical sides. Like I'm not very much aware about the medical industry and all. So I can actually help them with all the technical data, and also if they are actually into technical doing that, if they are developing their system themselves, then I can actually provide them with a lot of experts that are in this field, so they can like develop their first prototype. Yeah, they can actually develop their first prototype very easily.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
If anyone has a question, you can either raise your hands or post your questions in the chat box. Katen sir, you are not audible. Sir, can you type your question in the chat box? Karthikeyan sir?
Ma'am, if there is no other questions, shall we wind up?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Atul sir, for your insightful informations regarding the artificial intelligence. And I think your suggestion is that the students should need to learn about the Python. And by that learning, they can incorporate the data as what they are collecting from the clinical setup or disease-based setup. Slowly, it can inculcate that culture, right? Yeah, it's not a one-day process. It's continuous improvisation process. Let our students take up your suggestions and helps also in future.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. A feedback form has been posted in the chat box. So kindly fill the form before you exit from the meeting. Now, may I request Dr. Faiz Saju, Associate Professor, Department of Pharmaceutics and General Conveyor of today's summit, to deliver the vote of thanks.
A very good afternoon to one and all. On behalf of the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Development Center, Nirmala College of Pharmacy, I take this opportunity to acknowledge the immense hard work done by quite a large number of brains and hands to make this conference a resounding success. While we have conceived the idea of an innovation summit on pharma, we were a little anxious about the acceptance of the program. But surprisingly, we have received very positive response from all over the pharma community. I'm happy to share that we were in a situation to close the registration 4 days before, which is a proof that the future of the pharmacy is safe in the hands of our younger generation. Even though we have faced a situation to switch the planned event into online mode, the number of participants has not decreased. So, first of all, I express my sincere thanks to all the participants for making this event a grand success. I would also like to express our sincere gratitude to Indian Pharmaceutical Association, Kerala State, for associating with the summit. A special thanks to Dr. P. Jayashekhar, President of the IPA, and Sri Emma Pradeep, former Deputy Drugs Controller, for rendering all the support and guidance for making this possible. I express my heartfelt gratitude to the speakers, Dr. Chandrasekhar and Sri Atul Chandrasenan, for their generous attitude to share their knowledge and experience with us. I also thank Dr. Ashish, Mr. Prince Manu Baby, Dr. Deepu Krishnan, and Dr. Sharat Chandran, and all the startups who have shown their willingness to collaborate with us, even though it has not happened as we planned due to the bad weather and climatic condition. I take this opportunity to thank our administrator, Reverend Father Jos Pilopulil, and the all management for providing us unstinted support not only for this program but all our initiatives. Our principal, Dr. Padmanabhan R. has rendered us liberal support by constant and effective interventions. He always stays as a firm source of inspiration. Thank you, sir. Next, I thank our Vice Principal, Dr. Deepa Jose, for volunteering her time and efforts. I would like to thank Dr. Karthikeyan M., President of Institution Innovation Council, for his complete dedication for the successful conduct of this conference. I owe special gratitude to all the faculty members of our college for their support. We also thank the IDC core team members for voluntarily taking up all the toils and struggles. We acknowledge and appreciate all the efforts you have taken, especially to promote this event. Special thanks to the principals, staff, and students of Chemist College of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Delview College of Pharmacy, JDT College of Pharmacy, Al Shifa College of Pharmacy, and DC College of Pharmacy for the positive response you have shown from the beginning of this program. Finally, I conclude by thanking the Lord Almighty for bringing us all together to make this a resounding success. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. We have now come to the end of the Pharma Innovation Summit 2022. I, on behalf of IIC Nirmala College of Pharmacy, would like to thank everyone who has made this meeting possible. Thank you all once again for joining us today, and see you in the next meeting. Have a great day.
Thank you, ma'am.
Before you all leave, just a reminder, there's a feedback form that is posted in the chat box. Kindly fill the form before you exit the meeting. Thank you all.